What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tony, and today we are going to be talking about the motor that is in my 2019 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, and I was really surprised about it. So let's talk into it. So let's talk about the motor that is in my 2019 two-door. I have the 4-cylinder, and first when I bought this, I didn't even realize it had the 4-cylinder. I thought it had the 3.6 liter, which the 3.6 liter is really a dog. It's underpowered and it really sucks. What really is not the greatest is it's an older motor. Yeah, has it been proven? Sure. I also had the same motor in my 2015 Wrangler, and it's not really the best motor. Especially if you guys are going to be putting bigger tires on, it really slows down the vehicle with that 3.6 liter. If you have the 2.0 liter, which at first when it first came out, everybody was dogging it, shouldn't be putting this in the Jeeps. But surprisingly, this motor actually does really well. It really, the power behind it, which you have 270 horsepower, but the torque is where it gets it. The turbo really helps with the torque. At about 3,000 RPMs, you are turning roughly about 295 foot-pounds of torque, which is really pretty decent. It's pretty decent for the four-door, or for the four-banger. And I'm turning 37-inch tires, you know, with heavy rims. I got the Dirt Life rims on here. You know, and then especially when we go out to off-roading and when we are doing overlanding and camping and this thing is way down, thing really does really well. And I'm thinking about regearing it next year or this year, and that's the kind of where I kind of want to get into is what gears do you do with this motor. What really helps is the 8-speed trans, so you don't really have to go up too much with the gearing, especially with the turbo with all that torque. So I don't feel like I need to go up to a 513 gear. I think the perfect is going to be a 488 with the 2.0 liter. And now everybody's setup is going to be different. You may have strictly a rock crawler, it may just sit in the garage until you take it on the trails, or it is your daily driver. That is going to be kind of the question of what do you regear for? And some of you guys may ask, how much does it actually cost? There's a shop in Kenosha, Wisconsin. They're saying is if they can draw it on a napkin, they can do it. And I had them do my Gladiator, and it was roughly $2,100 to regear with a lifetime warranty on the parts and labor, which is incredible. I know Bob, the owner, awesome to work with, really down to earth, and they do a fantastic job. So that is, if you're in the Midwest, I would take it to, it's like, I can't think of the name of the shop. I'll put it in the description down below if you guys are around the Midwest area and need to regear. And I also know there's Badlands up in like Elkhorn, Wisconsin, and then there's also Forge 4x4. I think it's just south around Chicago area. What gear do you actually go up? So like if you don't have a Rubicon, you're probably running a 373 gear, which is not really, it'll definitely be a dog when you are putting larger tires on. You know, would a 410 be up there? But I don't think you're really getting that much of a boost. I mean, for the money, I don't think it's worth the money to go up one gear. I would personally, if you are running a 373 gear, I would minimum go with the 356, or I'm sorry, a 456. You're at least getting your money's worth. I've heard of some people going up to a 410. Yeah, I mean, a 410's a good gear, but if you're going to spend that much money, I would rather go up one more size, and then you'll never have to worry about it. That's my personal opinion. But I think with running 37-inch tires with this 2-liter, I think 488s are going to be the perfect gear. The Gladiator had 513s in it, and it did really well. I was really pleased with it. Yeah, you're going to lose it. You're end up going to lose the top end regardless, but you're not racing these vehicles to go down a drag strip at 100 miles an hour. So I mean, I would rather lose my top end and keep my low end torque really well. But I'm pretty excited. So that's kind of in the works to put a regear in, especially when this gets some road miles in this year. It's gonna need it. Doing the Rubicon Trail and going out to Colorado, I think the regear is gonna be necessary. And plus, then we're also gonna get back our MPGs a little bit. Right now, of course, I'm in the Midwest, and we have that winter blend gas. I believe, or it's kind of the opposite. I think they take out. This is kind of just a little plug for me. If you guys are interested in, or even looking at getting like an ice cold refrigerator, you guys can use my discount code, and it'll save you some money on an ice cold fridge. I absolutely love my fridges. I have the APL 55, and I also have the APL 20. Love them. They keep my food cold, keep my drinks cold, and I never have to worry about ice. Bringing ice sucks on the trail. So use the code always different, and I'm also going to put the link in the description down below so you guys can save some money. Less added, or they put more additives into the fuel versus not having them, or however, so it does make it a little bit cheaper, but you also kind of suffer on the MPGs a little bit. But right now I'm getting, with the running 37-inch tires, 410 gears, and yeah, this is a little bit lighter than a four-door, but I'm getting 17 miles to a gallon, and I'm pretty happy with that. I am on a 3-inch or a 2.5-inch lift, so you have all the drag underneath from the air, and I have my rack up top, and even when I was fully weighted down, I was getting 17, around roughly about the same. I have seen in the summertime I was up into the 20s. So I think regearing is going to be fantastic and a good idea. So leave me down in the comments what you guys personally think as your gearing, if you guys are planning on doing a regear. I think like I said, if you guys don't know, for tire size regearing, if you guys are thinking about it, they say a 33, really a 410, 456. I think a 456 for a 33 is kind of a little bit of overkill. I think that would for a 310, 33, 310, 3-inch tire, a perfect gear is the 410. And you can go up to a 35-inch tire with it and not really suffer quite a bit. If you are doing a lot of off-roading and going up to a 35-inch tire, me personally, I would do a 456. If you don't plan on going anything above a 35, I think a 456 is absolutely perfect. I think you're going to get that nice, get up and go. You're going to get your fuel mileage back a little bit, and then I think you're going to be in a safe spot. If you're going to be up to like a 37-inch tire like I am, and planning on going up to a 38-inch tire, I mean, realistically, a 37 is still a good size tire. 38-inch tire is a decent sized tire also. I'm not gonna go 40s at all. Yeah, it's nice, but I give a lot of my buddies some crap for going up to 40s, but I'm not. I would say a 488 or a 513 gears, depending on which way you go. Anything above that, you're gonna want to really stick with a 513 gear. That is basically the largest gear I would go into a 44 axles. If you have the 30, if a non-Rubicon and you have that 30 up front, I wouldn't even go past a 488 of that front. Even that, I think you're really pushing it, because your teeth are going to get really tiny. So just think that bigger the gear, smaller the teeth are going to get in there. So you gotta, if you put a lot of torque in there, you're going to start ripping out some teeth, and then you're just basically redoing them. Yeah, you got the lifetime warranty, but if you're on a trail, it just ruins for a bad day. So just something to keep in mind. So I'm just going to go over kind of a couple of things of why I think the 48 is going to be the best gear for this. You're going to get be able to run a larger size tire. You're going to get your improved off-road crawling and torque feel, and then you're also going to get a better improvement of the transmission behavior. It's going to shift down gears. It won't really hesitate under load. It's going to be, and then you're also going to be able to get a higher end torque. So it's really going to help you out in the long run. And plus that, you're going to get a little bit back of your MPGs. And I think that is definitely, I mean, nowadays, yeah, MPGs you care about, but the flip side of things is, I mean, we're driving a boat. So, I mean, MPGs, it is what it is. So if you guys are thinking about regearing your guys' Jeeps or whatever, and that is one thing that I had an issue with the ZR2. Nobody makes gears for it, and from my understanding, the one company that did it, Nitro, is out of business. So as of what I read and seen, there's not really a lot of people that are buying the ZR2s to regear it, so they're not really investing in that platform, I guess. That's just for what I read, and I could be 100% wrong on that. And I think that is where I was kind of not having a good time with the ZR2, because I needed that regear. It comes with like 343 gears, and it kind of sucked. But it was still peppy enough, and it got, all my stuff. But we started adding weight to it. You can definitely tell it was a little dragging a little bit. But anyway, let me down in the comments down below what you guys think of regearing. I think it's necessary. Some people will run large tires on 373 gear and not really have a problem with it. I wouldn't do it, but that's my personal opinion. But let me down in the comments what you guys think, and if you guys are going to regear, and also drop me where you guys are going this year to do some off-roading, camping, whatever you guys like to do. So guess what? Catch you on the next one. Peace out.